good, I want to meet me. Every time I went to a nightclub, he's like, this is the gentleman who made 10 million. It is nice to have money. I hate being broke. I know nobody here has ever been broke, but raise your hand if you know a broke person. If you didn't raise your hand, you're the broke one. You're like, no. Yeah, I live in South Africa, which is weird, right? It's freezing cold in South Africa. It's either super hot or super cold. Right now it's kind of like transitioning. But I grew up in Irvine. And a lot of people see my life today and they're like, wow, that's pretty cool, you know, cars and girls. Never know if that joke's going to go over. Different in every country. But I grew up in Irvine, and well, actually I grew up in San Jose in Northern California. And I'll just tell you guys like a little bit about myself so we're not total strangers. I really believe in like having a conversation and less of like a presentation. I'm a very informal person. If you get to know me, you'll see like I'm a total goofball. I joke around all the time. I grew up in Northern California in a city called Sunnyvale, which is near San Jose. And I was the only white kid in school. It was an all Hispanic school. And well, I take it back. There was one other guy, my brother. And I was like, it's just me and you, man. And we got beat up a lot because we were the only two white kids in school. And so my parents were like, they're not going to survive. And so we moved to Irvine. And my parents were like, this is the safest place for these weak little skinny kids. And so we moved to Irvine, and we got to Irvine, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I mean, it was like super nice, right? And then I remember the first day of school, everybody had Nike, Adidas, Quicksilver, Gotcha, Rip Curl, Billabong, and I had like Mervyn's and Target and And I know money's not the most important thing in the world, but when you're young and you're a kid and you're in a new neighborhood and everybody else has all the cool stuff and you don't, then it kind of feels like the most important thing. My grandma made all my clothes up until like, I don't know when, like 7th grade or something. And I remember somebody had the Lacoste, the alligator. So I told my grandma, I was like, dude, you gotta make me one of those. So she did, and then this one girl that I thought was really cute, her name was Teresa Holstead. She came up to me and she's like, oh, cool. And she touched the alligator and it fell off. I was like, shit. Have you ever seen a little kid have a panic attack? I was like, ah! And so I always knew that I wanted to make a lot of money, I just didn't know how. You know, I would see people with nice cars and big houses, and I'd be like, dude, I was never afraid to work hard, I just didn't know what to do. You know, and so I remember working at 76 gas station on Jeffrey and Walnut in Irvine, and people would come in really big, nice cars, and I remember thinking how unfair life was, that they have this really big, nice car, a big S-Class Mercedes-Benz, and I knew that, like, I would never have that. So my mom said, go to college, get a degree. When you graduate, you can get a good job, make a lot of money. So I went to college. For 2 weeks, I went to Utah Valley State College. And after 2 weeks, I decided college wasn't for me. And I dropped out and I moved back to Irvine. And I was working at a video arcade center called Palace Park. I think it's called Boomers now. It's on Culver and Michelson. And my official title was Token Boy. I had a bag of tokens, and I walked around the arcade. And if somebody came up and said, "Oh, they're totally lying. They're all, oh, the machine ate my token," and I'm like, whatever. I get my token. I don't care. I don't own the place. I'm like, here, take 10. And that was my job, right? And a friend of mine, I use the word friend loosely because we weren't really friends. A guy I knew, his name was Tim, said, you've got to come to this presentation. And I was like, dude, I don't want to go to any sales seminar. Anything commissioned is low class and cheesy, and it never works. And for 6 months, I avoided it. Well, he kept asking me and kept asking me. This is back in 1996, September of 1996. Finally, he convinced me to go. And I went to, on the corner of Main and Jamboree, there was a company called NTC, a telephone company. And there was 500 people in there, and they were mostly Chinese. And I'm used to being the only white guy, so I was like, whatever. And I don't know what it's like today, but I just remember for me, when I was a high school kid, the cool thing to do was to not smile. Because then you're cool and tough and you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And so I sat in the presentation the whole time like this. And the guy would tell like a cheesy joke, and I was like, gay. Like a joke could even have a sexual preference. It makes no sense whatsoever, right? And my friend elbowed me in the ribs, like softly, like one of these, you know? And I was like, what? And he goes, if you're so cool and you're so smart, how come you're broke? True. And so the guy on stage, he said something that just made a lot of sense to me. He said, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And if you don't have money to start a business, you're always stuck working for someone that had the money to start the business. And that made so much sense to me because it's true. I'd rather own the business than work for the guy that owns the business. I mean, we'd all rather be the business owner. Raise your hand if you've ever thought about owning your own business. Everybody, right? Okay? But what stops us? We want to own the business to make money, but we can't because we don't have money, so it's like you're screwed. And so I've been to 33 countries now, and believe it or not, we're all the same. We all have the same hopes, the same dreams, the same fears, the same desires. We all want more money and more free time. Is that true or true? True. See what I did there? So I saw this presentation, and I got super excited because they introduced me to the concept of network marketing, which almost seems like a bad word sometimes. People are like, oh my God, network marketing. But I didn't know what it was, so I didn't have any preconceived notions of it. And he said I could recruit and train a sales team and make money off them. And I thought, dude, that's awesome. And so I paid $700 to join this company, and I told all my friends about it, and they all said it was a scam, and they all made fun of me and said it would never work and I'd never make $1. One of my friends even said, you didn't touch anything, did you? And I was like, why? He goes, did you leave fingerprints? Because they're going to come arrest you. I was freaking out. I was like, I don't remember. And I called up my friend that signed me up, right? And I was like, dude, I prayed about it and God said I shouldn't do it. And he laughed. He laughed and I was like, what's so funny? He goes, dude, I know you don't pray. He's like, you went out there and you talked to some of your friends and they said no and you got scared, huh? And I was like, how'd you know? And he goes, dude, I've been doing this for a while. He goes, I told you to go to training and learn what to say and what not to say, and then it'll go much easier for you. And I was like, well, I didn't do that. And he said, well, bring your yearbook and come over to my house. This is exactly how it happened, okay? So I brought my yearbook over, and I had 168 names in my yearbook. It said, have a bitchin' summer, see you later, you know, math sucks, like whatever, right? Okay? So 168 people, he helped me call all these people, invited them to the office. He did the presentation, because when I did the presentation, all my friends made fun of me and laughed and said it was stupid. But when a stranger did it, they were like, wow, that's so cool. Weird, right? And so my first month, I signed up 5 people. This is a different company a long time ago, same concept. And eventually it turned into 3,000 people. And my 6th month, I made $20,000 at 19 years old. 20 grand, so I was making $5 grand a week. I became a millionaire by 21. My team got bigger and bigger. My team grew to 67,000 people.
Wow.
How insane is that? And I was making over $25,000 a week in my early 20s. And I bought 2 Lamborghinis, a Ferrari, a twin-turbo Porsche. I moved in next door to Britney Spears. She didn't come over much. But we babysit our dog once, Bubba. Actually, my brother did. I don't know if he's in here somewhere. No? Little Pomeranian. Oh, it's okay. Don't get him. He loves cigarettes. And so, little Pomeranian dog. So, yeah, I've got to live like this really cool lifestyle. No, it's not important. Awkward now. I said your name and she's like, raw. But it's cool. That's my brother, my business partner, Clif Braun. Dave, wave bye. Hi, Dave. My brother is the funniest guy. Like, you guys think I'm like mild sauce. Like, I'm mildly funny, but you get to hear from my brother later. He's freaking hilarious, okay? So, yeah, I've made a lot of money. It's cool. Here's where it all goes wrong, okay? Me and my brother started 2 companies that failed, and then we worked for another company that failed, and then we worked for another company that failed, and we lost everything. And so, at 30 years old, I went from driving a Ferrari, living in the Hollywood Hills, hanging out with celebrities, to calling my mom and asking her if I could move back in. It's funny, you never tell this story until you're on top again. Because when I joined Vemma, I told everyone, oh yeah, I don't need the money, I'm just doing it. You know, but I needed it really bad. Because at 30 years old, my car got repossessed, I lost everything. I mean, I literally had absolutely freaking nothing. And I called up my mom and I asked her if I could move back in with her, and she said yes, because she was divorced and lonely. And so I moved back in with my mom, and it was cool for a little while, a little small 1-bedroom apartment. But then she met a guy, and then he moved in, and then like I'd be sleeping in the living room, and I could hear them having sex in the bedroom. Has anybody ever heard their mom have sex? That joke's always a crowd favorite. I'll probably tell it again later tonight. But it's true. And so it was very awkward. And then my mom said, look, we're going to get married and you have to move out. And I was like, Mom, I'm 30. Where am I going to go? And she's like, figure it out. You're old. Go. So I moved in with my friend Charles, a Vietnamese friend of mine, Charles Trung, super cool dude. He was always broke when I was rich, and then we kind of traded places. So I was staying with him. And a friend of mine named Matt Morrow had been telling me about Vemma, this company, for 6 months. And when I was making a whole bunch of money, I was like, yeah, right, whatever, dude. But then when I was totally broke, I was like, yes, I am open to that business opportunity. And he came over to my friend Charles's house, and he drove over, and he had this blue Maserati, and the license plate said Verve NRG. And I was like, oh, clever, Verve Energy, I get it. And he pulled up, and he came out, and he handed me a Verve, and he's like, try this. So I was about to taste it. It hadn't even touched my lips yet. And he's like, how does it taste? It's like, when it's your business, you're so excited, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, not bad. And so then I tried it, and to be honest, the first time I had Verve, I thought it was okay. I thought it had an aftertaste. And so I said it, because I like to bust Matt's balls a little bit. So I'm like, it's got a bit of an aftertaste. And without missing a beat, he goes, yeah, that's money. And so, long story longer, I joined, and I got my brother was my first customer, and my friend Charles, who I was staying with, because he was really into mountain biking. And I thought Charles would want the energy drink, but he really fell in love with this product. He's all, dude, I don't need the energy. I'm like super fit into mountain biking, and you drink 1 shot a day. And he would put this in his little fanny pack, go mountain biking, and then when he was tired, it's not energy, it's health, but he would take 1 shot of this. So it's funny, my orthodontist, in, where is he, in Westwood, lives in Beverly Hills, super rich dude, I thought that he would want this. He's like, no man, I'm old, I need the energy. So it's weird, like, in the 6 years now that I've been doing this, you never know who's going to want what. But so from those 2 people, they told some people who told some people, now my team is thousands and thousands and thousands of people in 27 countries. I make lots of money, and all is right once more in the world. Everything's come back into balance now because I'm okay. Isn't that how it works? So now let me share with you guys kind of like how the business works, because I think this is like the coolest thing ever. And now I've shared my story with you. It worked for me, and it can work for you. It's just that you guys can't go out there and try to sell the product or pressure your friends, because that turns people off. I think the best way to do this business is drink it, feel it, share it. You found something you like, you drink it, you feel the difference, and you tell your friends about it. As soon as you try to sell your friends, all their walls go up and they're totally turned off. Does that make sense? It's like girls, if a guy comes on to you too fast, isn't it kind of like, ah? I'm waiting to see what girl's not scared of. Okay? I don't do that anymore. I don't do it any less. So here's how it works, okay? Verve Energy Drink is super awesome. Vemma is super awesome. We've got a couple different products. All you guys have to do is drink it every month, and then tell 2 of your friends, and they drink it every month. And they tell 2 of their friends, and they drink it every month. So you don't have to buy it wholesale and sell it retail. That's what most people don't like about multi-level marketing or network marketing, like Amway, Herbalife, Mary Kay, Nu Skin, all these different companies out there, is normally you got to buy a whole bunch of stuff, then you got to go sell it to your friends, and it creates awkward situations, and you end up being a member of the NFL. No friends left, okay? Here, you actually make friends, and you get to keep your friends, because all you're going to do is stop drinking Red Bull or Monster. The average person spends $5 or $6 a day on Starbucks, people that actually drink coffee and stuff like that, okay? Well, this is less than that. 1 can's like $2.90. So for half the price of Starbucks, you actually get your own business. You drink it, you tell 2 people, they start drinking it. All we want is for everybody in the world to order 2 cases of Verve Energy Drink. It's not much to ask.
Reasonable.
Yeah, I just tell people, don't drink Red Bull, it makes your wiener smaller. Imagine if we could prove that. So, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Verve Energy Drink is now the fastest growing energy drink in the world. When we started it, okay, with this whole concept, everyone's like, if the drink is so good, why don't you sell it retail? Well, how does that qualify a drink as being good or not good? That makes no sense. There's so many crappy products on the market sold at retail, so that doesn't make any sense, right? When we started this, there was 4,000 energy drinks, and we were number 4,000. Now we're number 6. I promise you, soon we'll be number 5, number 4. If you look at Herbalife, did like $9 billion last year. And so like you look at energy drinks are doing great. But there's network marketing companies that are bigger than Red Bull. And we're a network marketing company that's growing by leaps and bounds. Without a doubt, guaranteed, Verve energy drink will surpass Red Bull. How cool is that? But how many of your friends wake up in the morning and they're like, oh, my goal is just to beat Red Bull? Think about that. I'm telling you guys, I only have 2 goals in life right now, okay? Number 1, that my team is the number 1 team in the company, and nothing against other leaders in the company. I work with them, I respect them. I hope they have the same goal. But my goal is my team is the number 1 team in the company, and that Verve surpasses Red Bull. And I promise you, they're both going to happen. In every single company I've ever been in since I was 19 years old, I've been the number 1 earner along with my brother and the number 1 producer. This is the first time it's ever not happened, and I took like 3 years off. I was in Taiwan for 2 years, I was in Africa on safari for a while, and now I'm back and I'm working and things are going incredible. I moved to Cape Town, South Africa 1.5 years ago, didn't know a single person. I met a few people who joined. The first meeting I set up in Cape Town, South Africa, I set it up for 50 people. And you know how many people showed up? 4. So embarrassing, very awkward, because there's 46 empty seats. I wish nobody would have showed up, because then I could have just gone home and like watched TV. But 4 people showed up, and I was like, couldn't you just not show them like everybody else? So I went into the bathroom, and I was so depressed. I don't know if you guys ever had that lump in your throat where you're like, my chin was shaking. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? I've made millions of dollars. My chin was shaking, I had a lump in my throat, and I thought I was going to cry. And I splashed my face with water, and I was like, and I came outside, and I went, we're getting rich. And luckily, those 4 suckers believed me. And then we tricked 4 more people into it, and then they tricked 4 more people into it, and now I've got 4,000 active members, all college students, primarily college students, and parents, in Cape Town, South Africa. And we sign up between 20 and 50 new people every single day. But in the beginning, it was tough, because everybody saw me as like some foreigner who came to rip off South Africans. They're like, no, we're not stupid. But here's the biggest challenge in our business is that people are skeptical. And people are going to say, oh my God, is that one of those pyramid scams? Okay? A pyramid is a company with no product and no service, where you recruit people, they put money in, and you keep their money. And it's illegal because there's no real business. Okay? That's what a pyramid is. But it's funny how many people will say to you, oh my God, that's one of those pyramid things. And you ask them, what's a pyramid? And they go, it's bad. And you go, well, what's a pyramid? And they go, it's one of those things where the people above you make more money than you. I'm like, your job? Like, isn't that how everything is, right? So I think that this is like the coolest concept ever. It's working. We've got so many college students, not just in Cape Town, all over the place, making more money than their parents now. And I think the coolest thing is like, yes, making a lot of money is nice. But the coolest part about making a lot of money is having your independence, your self-respect, your self-esteem, that when I walk into a room, I don't feel inferior to anybody. I don't feel superior to anybody. But I remember when I was younger, because all the other families in the neighborhood had lots of money and we didn't, I shouldn't, but I always felt like I was less of a person. And if I got into an argument with someone about something, I knew I was right, I'd be like, oh, you're right. I just didn't feel good about myself. Not because of the money, but it's the self-esteem from actually making it. And so it's such a good feeling, and I wish that feeling for you guys. I get to travel, I've been to 33 countries now. And it's nice to have, when you pay all your bills, and then you have more money left over. That's like the coolest thing. I don't call them vacations, I call them paycations, because every time I go somewhere, I talk to my team, and I end up making more money. I've got friends all over the world now. I have this Japanese girl in Japan, sent me a message on Facebook. She's like, yeah, Vemma's opening Japan soon. If you ever need a place to stay, you can stay with me. And I was like, hell yeah. I started going through her pictures, and I was like, hell no. That first picture never really looks like that. You know what I mean? It's like freaking awesome, and then you go through, and you're like, oh no. You trickster. So, does everybody understand the business model? I know it sounds like I'm oversimplifying, but this is really how it works. Okay, one case is like $75, so it's like almost $3 a can. So if you order 2 cases a month, that's like $150 a month. 1 case you drink for yourself, and then the other one you pass out to your friends. This is how I recruit people. I hand someone a drink, they try it, they go, wow, this is cool, I've never seen it before. I go, yeah, this is my new side business. And they're like, really? And then they say, well, tell me how it works. And I say, well, are you free on Thursday or Saturday? All you guys want to do is get people interested and then set an appointment and have them come to a presentation. Because if you try to explain it to your friends, they're not going to believe you. But if they come to a meeting and they see everybody, it's like, oh, okay, it's kind of like safety in numbers, and then they believe it a little bit more. And so the biggest mistake new people make is they have VD. Now, nobody here wants a VD, do they? What's VD? It's verbal diarrhea. And what happens is we get so excited, we're like, oh my God, let me tell you how it works. And then you try to explain it, and then everything falls apart. And so all you got to do is give somebody a drink, show them a video on YouTube. We've got a whole bunch of killer awesome videos on YouTube. So they try a drink, they watch a link. I call it drinks and links. All you got to do is pass out a drink and show them a link. Not that difficult. A freaking monkey could do it. Probably teach a monkey to do it. Alright? That's all you got to do. And then you bring them here, and then we'll explain it to them. It's very, very simple. In the beginning, you just have to be a good promoter, and you've got to be good at developing the breaks, because you give someone a drink and you say, you know what, this is a new energy drink. They pay people to promote it through social media, and they're going to be like, no way, cool, how does it work? So this is training. Training's like 5 seconds. Okay? Does everybody know how to drink? Halfway done. Now, you ask me, you say, oh, cool, I call you up, I go, dude, there's this new energy drink, you can get paid to promote it through social media, and you say to me, oh, cool, how does it work?
Cool, how does it work?
Well, are you free on Thursday?
Yes.
See what I did? It was like the Matrix. He threw a question at me and I was like, I threw it back at him. It works with your girlfriend. Where were you? Do you have a pen? Write this down. West Covina did it. Somebody asked me, how does it work? I have 2 answers all the time. I say, do you have a pen? Or I say, are you free on Thursday? Now if I say, do you have a pen? They go, yeah, why? And then I give them the address, and I go, let's meet here on Thursday, I'll tell you all about it. They say, well, tell me about it now. I say, look, I'm kind of in a hurry, let's meet on Thursday. It's not that hard. I swear to God, making money is not that hard. If it was, I couldn't do it. My GPA in high school was the same as my blood alcohol level, 1.0. I went to college for 2 weeks. Who does that? I drove with my brother from California to Utah Valley State College, went for 2 weeks, dropped out, came back, and was working at an arcade center. I saw this concept, I got excited about it. I can tell you guys, this freaking works. But here's what happens. It's a fact that 95% of the world is going to struggle financially, and 5% of the world does well financially, okay? And the 95%, I call it the herd, because it's like sheep. I call them sheeple, okay? Because they just want to all do the same thing. And it's weird that as a society, we really admire people that are individuals, yet we don't want to do it because we're too scared. And so it's like people are so scared about what their friends are going to say about you. I promise you, they're already talking shit about you anyway. As soon as you leave the room, they're like, oh, did you see what she was wearing? I mean, it's like, so you might as well have the money too. It's almost like this. There's all these sheep, okay? And we're all sheep, and we're like this, and like, I don't know what sheep do. Wiggle their nose, their butts, right? But we're all sheep, and we're sitting here, and the safest sheep is the one in the middle, right? And so we're all sheep, and we all have a 9-to-5 job, and a job is okay to pay the bills and to survive. That's what a job is for, to get by. But you're never going to get ahead. You can survive, not thrive. Does that make sense? And so we're all working a job, and we're all sitting here, and we're chilling, and then all of a sudden you join Vemma, and you try to stand up and become a shepherd, and you're like, follow me. And all the sheep are like, F you, bitch. And the sheep, they're actually very scared because you're threatening the safety of the herd. Because their only protection is the safety of the herd. They don't have any natural, protection. So they're all here, and then you get up and you start doing your own thing, and they're like, don't follow Jessica. She's bad. Sheep don't have exciting life. Sheep have very thin skin. They can't take criticism. How thin is a sheep's skin? Ask me, how thin, Clif? I'll tell you how thin, audience. So thin, they make condoms out of sheep. If you can't take the latex condom, if you're allergic, you can get a sheepskin condom. Did you know that? Yeah. That's how thin their skin is. It's just a good joke. Their skin is actually very thick. My dad sent me an email. He's like, you might not want to tell that joke anymore because it's totally not true. My dad's such an analytical. Oh, it's funny. Who cares? He said it actually comes from their intestine. That skin is apparently quite thin. So you put that there.
Moving right along. Keep rolling.
Move on. So here's what I can tell you is this business works and it's a ton of fun, but it takes work. It's not easy. If I talk to 10 people about this business, just to clue you guys in, I'm the most transparent, honest salesperson you'll ever meet. 7 out of 10 people that I talk to don't do it. And like 3 out of 10 tell me why I'm stupid and I shouldn't do it. And how funny is that? I'm like, dude, I'm rich and they're broke and they're telling me how stupid it is and how it doesn't work. I'm like, are you retarded? It's crazy. And so if I talk to 10 people, 7 of them are going to say no and 2 or 3 are going to say yes. When you guys are new, you talk to 10 people, 9 say no and 1 says yes. And then you start to reevaluate yourself and your opinions and you go, oh my God, it doesn't work. But a baseball player hits the ball 3 out of 10 times, makes $4 or $5 million a year. So you have to understand you're always going to get more no's than yeses. Are you guys with me?
Yep.
So let's think about this. If you don't do Vemma and you continue on the path that you're on, maybe you don't need to make a change and maybe everything in your life is okay right now and then awesome. But if not, I just think like, what are my dreams? What are my goals? What are my hopes? What are my desires? I've always wanted to make a lot of money, wear jeans and a t-shirt, not have a boss, and have extra money left. Like, that's always been my goal. I want to drive a Porsche, wear jeans and a t-shirt, and never have to work and not have a boss. Who likes that? Okay? Now, only 5% of the world will ever accomplish this. And that 5% are all business owners. Nobody has a job like that. There's no job that's like, wear jeans and a t-shirt, do nothing, and drive a Porsche. I've never seen that job out there. Okay? So this is a way that we can do it, but it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And so that's the first thing I'll tell you guys is this won't be easy. It takes work, it takes effort. But the awesome thing is you can totally start part-time. Because if you want to make more money, you've got 2 options. You can get a second job or you can start a business. If you get a second job, there goes all your free time. If you start a business, there goes $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 that most of us don't even have anyway. And if you do have it, then you got to risk it, knowing that 95% of small businesses fail. And so the cool thing about this is stop buying Starbucks and start buying Verve energy drink. So you're not spending any more money, you're just not giving it to Starbucks. I like what Alex Morton says, there's no bucks in Starbucks, so why are you drinking it? Funnier when he says it. I saw it on YouTube, everyone loved it. Watch it again. So why pay Starbucks when you could drink Verve and it's super duper healthy? It's clinically proven if you drink 1 can of Verve, it's like eating 3 bags of vegetables. That's published in medical journals, okay? And the reason why is because in every can of Verve, there's 1 shot of Vemma. So if you drink 1 shot of Vemma, you'll live forever and never die. I promise. It's got a money back guarantee. If you die, write us a letter. We'll give you a full refund. Nobody's died yet, okay? So this is super awesome. You drink this at 65 minerals, 12 vitamins, a bunch of antioxidants. Basically, you get the nutrition that you need from food, about 20%. This gives you the other 80%. And so people with HIV, cancer, high cholesterol, diabetes, people with no sense of humor drink it, all of a sudden, funny shit. But this is super, super good for you. I'm 36 years old, and I treat my body like an amusement park, and I don't look a day over 36. I feel 26, I act 12, okay? So you drink this once a day, or you drink the Verve, which has this in it. So it's a super healthy form of energy, and you can make money too. And I'm here to help you guys, I'm here to support you guys. I'm here in America for 4 more weeks, then I go back to Cape Town, South Africa. I'm there for 3 months, and then I'm here for 6 weeks. It's almost like I'm there for 3 months, I'm here for 2 months, kind of like back and forth. So I'm here until December 14th. And you guys are, 99% of you are all on my team. And even if you're not and we're friends, right, then it's good too. I swear, I'm the most available person. I'll give everybody in the room my cell phone number right now. You ready? Say I'm ready? Ready. 714-350-6246. Did you get it? If you were drinking Vemma, you'd remember it. No, I'll give it to you. Ready? It's 714. Because I want to help you guys. I've got a residual income that comes in to where I don't have to work anymore. And that's why I'm so happy I can eat a banana sideways. Like, I'm always in a good mood. many of you guys are going to try that later? Okay? So my number is 714-350-6246. 714-350-6246. And anything you guys need, I'd love to help you. Add me on Facebook, add me on Twitter, add me on Instagram. I'll stay here tonight. I'll answer all your guys' questions. I dig the business. I think it's awesome. And the cool thing is I've got a lot of people on my team, college students. They're now making more money than their parents. And now they're helping out their parents financially. How many of you guys would like to help out your parents financially? Dude, here's my closing remark is this. Life is super, super short, okay? A lot of you guys know my fiance passed away 2 years ago, and it's something sad I don't usually talk about in presentations. A lot of you guys have seen me do meetings, and I never talk about it. But it did. I went and visited her grave today with her brother, and we're both sitting there crying, and it's super emotional. But it just reminds me how short life is, and that you don't have to sit behind a desk from 9 to 5. My girlfriend, my fiance, was the most energetic, full of life, just freaking awesome person ever. And when she died, my whole world fell apart. And 2 years ago, we were living in Taiwan together. She passed away, and I was lost, didn't know what to do. I went to Kenya to visit a friend in East Africa, and I stayed with him for 2 months. And I did nothing for 2 months. And then he said, look, I've got an office in South Africa, and you could run it, and you could be the man. And so I went to South Africa. There was no business there, and I had horrible anxiety, terrible panic attacks. Every time I was talking to someone, I looked all fine on the outside, and on the inside I was freaking out. But luckily, I made really good friends, and my team started to grow. And I don't know what your guys' beliefs are, but I totally feel like I have an angel in heaven. Everything I do freaking works. And I'm not that good. I'm good, but I know I'm not that good. And I totally believe that that's true for me, that there is somebody looking out for me. And I bet there's probably somebody looking out for you. And this is the most amazing, incredible business where you can really make a difference in the world. And you can work with people, and you can help people. And it's so gratifying. I wish for all of you guys to experience what that's like. When you join Vemma, you truly, truly, truly are a part of a family. I was in Calabasas yesterday, and there's this guy that owns a construction company who's pretty rich.
David.
Yeah. Dude, his house is like MTV Cribs. And when I was broke, I would wish to meet people like that. He's got all these cars and motorcycles and a Trans Am and all this cool stuff. And it's I barely ever know the guy, but I went and I did a meeting for 100 people, and I did a pretty good job. So he was like, dude, come stay at my house, let's hang out. I've got friends all over the world because of Vemma, and I want to be one of those friends to you guys. You've got my cell phone number, my email, my Facebook, everything. I will bend over backwards, not forwards. Don't love you that much. I don't love anybody that much. I'll bend over, let me think about it now. Yes, I'll bend over backwards to help you guys, okay? Is it okay to have fun while you make money?
Yeah.
Dude, don't take it so seriously. You guys go talk to your friends and you're so nervous. I don't understand why. I mean, it's you're saying, dude, buy an energy drink every month and you can potentially make lots of money. And you can quit whenever you want. There's no contract, no commitment. I mean, it's to me, it's a freaking no-brainer. I think you're crazy if you don't do it. But there's 2 rules to be a part of my team. Don't beg people and don't pressure people. Because if somebody doesn't want to do it, they're not going to be good. And if you have to drag someone across the starting line, they're not going to make it to the finish line. And so I'd rather dance with somebody that wants to dance than try to if you've got to convince them to join, you've got to convince them to do everything. And it's no fun. And so I'm like water going down a stream. When water hits a rock, it doesn't stop and negotiate with the rock. Come on. There we go. What does it do?
Go around.
It goes around, but it takes the path of least resistance. And it just, and that's how I am. I talk to people that say no all the time, but I just keep talking to people. It doesn't bother me. If somebody says no, I'm like, all right, cool. But so many of you guys, one person says no, and you're like, God, grow a pair. Jeez. And one of your friends says something mean to you, and then you just crumble. It's geez, you've got to develop a little bit of thick skin. It's if somebody tells me it doesn't work, I'm like, whatever. This one guy said to me, I remember Matt had that Maserati, and then when I started making money in this company, then I got the Maserati. So I took the Maserati over. And I remember I got a flat tire, a slow leak, and I was pulling into this place in El Toro, and this guy goes, hey, I tried Verb, that drink tastes like shit. And I was like, really? You probably drank it wrong. Some guy said to me, oh, is that one of those pyramids? I was like, no, it's a triangle. Someone said it's a pyramid. I was like, no, it's a Christmas tree, and all the presents are at the bottom. It's like, just to clear that, okay, Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called Why We Want You to Be Rich. And they said network marketing is like the coolest thing in the world, and that if they lost all their money and had to do it all over again, that's how they would do it. Yep. Warren Buffett, the most successful investor of all time, owns 4 network marketing companies. And so whenever someone says, there's this great video on YouTube that you have to watch of these 2 cartoon characters, and the one cartoon character is trying to recruit the other one, and it's all, it still sounds like a pyramid. And this guy gives like all this amazing, incredible information, and this person keeps saying, it sounds like a pyramid. It's like their favorite word. They're all pyramid, pyramid, pyramid. I'm like, oh, go away, you know? So say to me, that sounds like a pyramid.
That sounds like a pyramid.
Hater. Their favorite word is pyramid. My favorite word is hater. You know what I mean? So it's like they try to kick me in the nuts and like have a nut kicking party. Sounded funnier in my head. So, who else should I bring up here? Where's Leonora? You organize this whole thing. Let's give Leonora a round of applause. Let's bring Margaret up here. Why don't you come up here? Come on, Margaret. Yay! Who else should I bring up here?
Kelly.
Where?
Kelly.
Kelly?
Yes.
Come on, Kelly. Who else? Where's my brother? Okay. Anybody else we need to hear from? Anyone else? Who's brand new and doing well?
Hugo.
Hugo.
You go.
Hugo.